the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up?
We can tell.
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
Oh,
I'm
man.
shaking right now.
Chat, cringe. Cringe. And a lot of people don't understand that this is the reason why they lost their empathy. Right? I think that this movement was based off of empathy. I think that people gave these people a line of almost social credit to allow them to do what they wanted based off of empathy. The only issue is, as soon as they got to the point where they were getting power, they started to say that they were willing to become violent. Chat, they started telling you that they were going to censor you. They started saying that they were going to become violent. They started saying that they were going to indoctrinate your kids, and I think that's where a lot of people drew the line, chat. I think that's where a lot of people drew the line. I don't think that they're doing themselves any favors by allowing people like this, who literally looks like a clown, horrible representation, getting up here and threatening people with violence, but also saying that they need to be protected. Nah. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. Be violent with the people you need to be violent with. Why are you inciting violence? Yeah, so yeah, they were running off of a certain social currency and a social credit that we allowed. And then once they became violent and willing to use violence to promote their message and told us that we can't say anything about it, that's where a lot of people, stood their ground. And I think we still stay in a spot right now where you could kind of do what you want. We're not going to judge you for the most part. You might get judged by some niche people, but you can do what you want for the most part. But that wasn't enough for some people. They wanted to indoctrinate kids and tell you that you can't point out objective reality. And I think that's where they lost a lot of people.
Don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Then go home.
I'm sorry. Am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs.
What does this person do for work? What does this person possibly do that could be productive for society? I just can't point it out. Now, I'm not going to just start roasting people, but I mean, it's easy fodder at this point. They're just putting themselves out there as easy fodder at this point. This is silly work. This is silly.
I want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books the Nazis burned books on gender sciences first. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
Okay, we're all done here.
Fucking pathetic!
No, we're all done. Come on.
Of course, we need to continue celebrating Black History Month because in spite of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
But be aware.
I don't know. Someone asked us this in Minnesota. I'm not sure. It says city of Worcester in the bottom here. I'm not sure what this is, but this is silly world. It is astonishing to me that we almost let 15 mentally ill people online ruin our government. We almost let 15 mentally ill people online ruin objective reality. Is that not silly? By the way, these are going to be the same people that are on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook or on Reddit or on YouTube that try to tell you how to behave. They try to tell you how to behave, chat. I think we're doing these people a disservice by going along with their delusion. I think there's a level of going along with someone's delusion that becomes destructive. And I think at some point there has to be somebody that's willing to just tell them no. And I think the American people have spoken up and kind of said, nah, we're done with it. We're done with it. We almost let 15 mentally ill people online change objective reality, chat. Crazy.
That you are a guest in my house when you come. And when you come, know that there are strong queer and trans people in my classroom who will collect you with the quickness.
My name in drag is Dee Dee
More
Delight.
threats.
And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like all the time. People refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as ma'am. I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets. I speak as someone who is a member of this community and is a queer person.
Womp womp, nigga, you a grown ass man. You 32. No, he's like 45. Womp womp. You're a grown ass man. You're fine. Seeing this from grown ass men as a grown ass man, it makes it very hard to empathize with. I'm sorry. It makes it very hard. Of course, these people need help, but these people are mentally ill, and we need to stop pretending like they're not. I think we need to stop pretending like they're not in order to help them at this point. I think now it is becoming us just enabling this behavior, and I don't think that helps anybody. I don't think it helps society, and I don't think it helps the people involved. Genuinely.
You have to imagine being me and my wife, fearing that our marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Please, I only have so much time. Please, Joe's gonna cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community? How many lives have to be lost before you consider fighting back against fascism and corruption?
Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that some of you care more about easy funding than trans lives and don't mind Nazis for some whatever reason, but
Normally I would say good evening, but through the chair I will only impart my sour grapes.
It's an extremely emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as someone as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B. Right now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
Noticing people here.
How are you being threatened? How is there a threat for saying that we're gonna take objective reality from now on? We're just gonna say that men are men and women are women. Two genders, that's it. And he didn't even say you can't identify as whichever one you want to. Because that's what we're doing here. They're identifying as in a binary. They're identifying as either a man or a woman. So there's only two. And they switch back and forth, but there's still only two. And I think I genuinely believe that it's criminal that the Democratic Party has weaponized mentally ill people. I think the amount of fear that they've invoked in these people to believe that their lives are going to be over doesn't help them. I think it probably leads to more of the issues in terms of them saying, dealing with the issue that you get with, the trans community a little bit with the ending yourself for YouTube terms. I don't think that invoking so much fear that they feel uncomfortable walking around that because the government keeps saying, or the Democratic Party just keeps repeating these talking points, I don't think that helps them with dealing with that. I think it's weaponizing them so that you can try to get your way and your will. And I think that's been going on for a while. It's weird.
To control the rights of others, and that's not right. We should make Worcester a sanctuary city for trans people. Everybody deserves to feel safe, and everybody needs to feel safe.
Absolutely. They're manipulating kids. That's manipulation.
And there hasn't really been any changes in how people feel safe in the city. My birthday is this Saturday, and all I want is peace and for you to vote yes.
This kid doesn't know what he's talking about. He's 10 years old. He should be playing Pokemon. I was playing Pokemon at 10. Now because of TikTok and radical parents, you got 10-year-olds giving speeches. By the way, this speech was written on a napkin with crayon by his mentally ill mother, I'm sure. And the best thing for this kid, the best thing that you hope for this kid, is that he grows up and sees this as cringy. You want him to grow up and see this speech as cringy. Because then that means he understands that he was weaponized by his parents. If he grows up and actually falls into the place that I'm sure his parents want him to be in, I think that could be worst case scenario for him. Hopefully he regrets this in the future.
Let me down for my birthday. There's a lot of queer people that I love, and to Candy Carlson, you should know to never call someone I'm 7 and I know better. The kids are watching and we're ready to vote you out.
Oh my gosh.
He said, oh my gosh. I mean, what are we dealing with, chat? What are we dealing with out here? Obvious mental illness. We almost let 15 mentally ill people change how we see reality, chat.